Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is a special broadcast with our special guest, Angie Dollar. How's it going, Angie?
Good. How are you? It's good to be back.
Yeah, well, let's see, you were here earlier this year, but you have relocated
I've
um,
relocated.
to Sedona, right?
Yes, I have.
You
Yeah,
know,
when I met you out here, I thought I think I'm going to be living there.
yeah, it's a beautiful place. Now, what's so funny is I got a group text this morning. It was between, I guess, myself and Lauren and Dan and Frank and Allison Coe and uh, Sandy. There was a group of us that, probably, I don't know, maybe almost a dozen or so that we realized that today's the anniversary of us all meeting in Sedona in person at that event where I met you, 1 year ago today, and here it is 1 year later. It doesn't seem like a year though, does it?
It doesn't seem like it. It's so weird that we're doing this on that anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool though. So
Yeah.
what's your impressions of Sedona now that you've been there a few months now, right?
I've been here like 2 months barely, and it's just amazing. I mean, when I drove in here to move here, I just felt that energy, that beautiful energy, where I just felt like crying. It was just coming over me as I started to come into the mountains up here in this area. I can't
Mm,
I can't explain it. I mean, you've been here, but someone who doesn't hasn't been here, I don't know how to explain it to them.
me
So,
neither.
yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Because it is a subtle energy. I mean, I can see people that aren't very in tune going there and saying, I went to Sedona once. I don't remember anything about it." But if you certainly shift your attention to it, it's more than evident. If you just pay attention. But
Yeah.
people are so busy. I can see.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, if they're still awake or they're so busy, like for me, I never felt energy inside places. I've got a couple friends who are sensitive. They're like, oh, I can't be with crowds. And I'm like, "No, I go wherever." I could go, like, I've lived all over the world and everything. And I never felt energy at a place until I came here. And then when I came here, I felt it. And when I came here, like you, I drove here. When I drove back into Houston, I drove here for the conference. When I drove back into Houston, I started crying on the negative side of like Houston energy hitting me, and it's just so sad and yucky.
uh,
Yeah, so I started to be able to feel energy at places, a year ago after I came here. So it's just very, very different. It's beautiful. It feels beautiful. It looks beautiful. It's amazing. So.
do you get used to it though?
I don't. And I live in the village, so I'm about 20 minutes outside of West Sedona and uptown Sedona for people who know where that is. I'm still in Sedona. But if I drive into West Sedona or uptown, like it's as if I haven't ever seen it before. Like I'll drive that way like twice a week, and I was looking around yesterday. I was like, wow, it's like I've never seen it.
So West Sedona's sort of that area when you come out at like from Flagstaff. There's all the little resort places, the real touristy area there where the circles are and all that. Is that where you're
Yeah,
West?
I'm down some of the circles down towards 179, the
Okay,
village.
yeah, we talked about that. So yeah, if you come into Sedona in that main area there, and then you kind of head left towards where that conference was, and you keep going around that way for a while, you'll pass Bell Rock, I think is
Uh-huh.
right, and then past there you'll come across some more circles, and that's the direction you stay then, right?
Yeah, I'm near Bell Rock Road, so I'm near
Right.
the Bell Rock area of the
Yeah,
circle.
we went over there. We went hiking on Bell Rock, and then we went to that little area you're talking about with the circles. We were like, oh, this looks like the main West Sedona area but it was a
Yeah,
whole new section that we'd never even been in.
it's sectioned off, and uptown, West Sedona. I think maybe there's a midtown too, but I'm in the village, so I'm out of the touristy area, which is where I wanted to be out, so I can go in when I want to. And then it's kind of cool. You see people walking around so excited.
Yeah. Now, you know what I'd be afraid of is moving there and you've got all these cool energy vortexes, but you never take the time to go out there. Is that an issue?
Yeah, I've been so busy that I feel like I haven't taken a lot of time to enjoy it. I'm going
Hmm.
on a helicopter ride today, which I did once last year.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go on a longer one. Like last year, I went through the vortexes. This time, to go through the vortexes and go through some other areas. So I'm excited.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
you'll get some footage?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll get some
Oh,
footage. I can send you some footage if you want.
that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Last year, I was in the front seat of this 5-seater helicopter, so I got some good footage on it.
That's awesome.
But I've gone hiking, and it's an amazing feeling to be up in the mountains and even just drive through the mountains here. So flying through it is a whole different world. So I
Yeah, I
can't
know
wait.
when I was hiking, I'd have to take numerous breaks because the air's so thin in some of the areas where we were hiking, but it doesn't matter where you stop to catch your breath or to relax and look around. It's just all beautiful. It's the
Mhm.
perfect spot to stop and take pictures. So I
Yeah,
never had a problem with stopping and catching my breath while we were hiking, although it was something we did often because we're just like used to just not being so active. But it was fun.
I feel like it's hot. It was hotter last year. This year it's been like it's cool enough if it wasn't loud because the golf course is right here. I could have my windows open. It's cool today. So I think if you came a little later in the year, maybe you could, hike better because it's not so hot.
Yeah.
But it is different being in Oklahoma's like pretty much zero elevation. Houston's like below sea level or something crazy. It's like
Right.
4,500 feet up here, so it is different.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah.
Trying to breathe. I think driving's nicer though because you can kind of at least be
Mhm.
sort of eased into it, if you will.
Yeah. I had a couple come in, like a woman came in for a session because I do QHHT too and
Hmm.
BQH and energy work. But she came in for a session and then she paid for a session for her boyfriend for QHHT. And they're up in Flagstaff. And I told her, I said, gosh, I really love going up there. Like I've gone up there, I think 4 times since I've been here.
Hmm.
And so I think the energy just feels really good. And then I did a surrogate session for her um, to get like a deeper connection where I had a BQH practitioner hypnotize me or BQH me.
Hmm.
And what we were getting out of that is that Sedona all the way up to Flagstaff and through the Grand Canyon area is just amazing energy is what we were getting. It's like a high vibration. I thought, oh, that's why I like going to Flagstaff. It just feels wonderful all the way from here up there.
Absolutely, yeah. When I went there last year, I stayed in Flagstaff because it was so much cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't mind the drive at all. I mean, it was only like I think 20 something miles, but it took like 40 something minutes because it's so
Yeah.
curvy and everything. But it's definitely worth the view. It's like, well, at least the view is like awesome.
Yeah, the view is amazing going up there.
That's one of the most beautiful drives I've ever done. So yeah, I didn't mind driving it.
Yeah, that's what someone told me. I went to like a little spiritual meetup thing, and a couple came down to run it, and they said that that's voted one of the top drives of a lifetime.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't doubt
Sedona.
it.
Yeah, Sedona to Flagstaff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then we actually went up to the Grand Canyon after that, and that's a beautiful drive as well. So that whole area right there, totally, I can totally see the high energy you're talking about,
Oh
and that
yeah.
whole stretch. Yeah.
hmm
So have
Yeah.
you been up to the Grand Canyon since you've been there this time?
I haven't, and I was looking at doing a flight. I kind of like to do a flight up over there during the holidays, so we'll see.
See, I
Yeah.
was wanting to do the hot air balloon there in Sedona
Mhm.
because I know, but I don't know how that compares to the helicopter ride. I guess you get in a much bigger area covered, right?
I haven't done a hot air balloon, so
Seems scarier, doesn't it? For some
I
reason.
thought, I guess maybe a little bit. Like when I was really young, I was taking pilot lessons when I was really young, and I guess after you've stalled in an airplane and kind of fallen through the sky, it's not right. Once you've done that, and other crazy stuff, ridden motorcycles, whatever. I'm not real too scared, but it's exciting. I could see that adrenaline rush and a little fear of like there's nothing around you. You're just like looking down.
Right. I'd
It's
be clenching my phone so hard, afraid I'm going to drop it, trying to get some
Dude,
cool
I
footage.
don't see you as being afraid of anything. Wouldn't it be exciting though? Maybe we could do that next year. Like let's plan that. Like if I haven't done it by next year, you got to come up here again for that transformational shift. If you come up here like in a year, I'll pay for your hot
Hot
air.
air balloon.
How's that?
That's awesome. Maybe we can live stream. Well, probably not,
Yeah.
but I can at least get the footage. My connection there was horrible. I tried to live stream, and
Yeah.
so I think it's good though. Less EMFs is how I viewed it.
Yeah. Oh, and if you come up here, like if you and your wife, I do have an extra room. You could just stay here for the conference too. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got my own personal Airbnb there at Angie's.
Yeah, like you're on the golf course. I tried to set it up. My boyfriend was like, you got to have like the view, but if I turn it too much, it's too bright here. And the front is the mountain. I guess it's Bell Rock out the front. So.
Oh, wow.
It's
So you do have an awesome view there. It'll just silhouette you to show the outside, right?
you can't see it. Like I could send you pictures, but if I turn my computer to either one of them, it just goes like super bright. Like you can't see anything. Yeah.
I got you.
But yeah, I can't believe I don't want to say I can't believe I found this. Like it's all meant to be because I moved here. I found someone on Craigslist looking for a roommate, which sounds a little shady, but I could just feel like she was like an older lady who had some health and medical bills. And so she just wanted a roommate to help with that. And she has this beautiful house. She's a really nice person. So I stayed there for a month. And I talked to someone here local who said, oh, it took me 4 months to find the place. I had to stay with friends. And I thought, I better look. And so I had been staying with the lady for a month. And as soon as I decided to look, it took me like 2 days. I found this place. And the owner showed it to me. She's like, well, what do you think? Do you want it? I thought, that's it. I thought it was like a big process. It's like 2 days. I find this place with a view, and I can have an office here to see people. It's just amazing. Like totally meant to be. It's totally meant to be because I don't have stuff just fall in my lap.
Right.
Manifest, just instant manifest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how much of I know you do some stuff remotely like BQH and some stuff in person. What all do you offer as far as sessions for anybody that might be in the Sedona area for a conference and maybe they want to meet up with you? Because we talked about that, I think, during your session, how Sedona is sort of this portal for people that, sort of cycle through there. Mm-hmm. And they sort of cycle through there, they get the energy work they need, the healing they need, and then go back to where they come from. And it's sort of people are aware that they're doing that many times. They know that they're going to this high vibe place trying to get their energy up. So we've got people like you on the ground there that's helping these people that are cycling through. So I just wanted you to
yeah. Like the inventory people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do. So I went through everything kind of backwards. I kind of feel like I wish I had done BQH and QHHT first, but I went through a path hypnotism program in Houston. I started that first, and then I did another program. I don't want to say that name, so I'm not criticizing it because it was really good too, I thought. And then I did BQH and then QHHT. But before all that, I did spiritual response therapy, energy clearing. So I feel like I integrate it all together, which BQH, I like that integration. If people want straight QHHT, they can come here. If they want it integrated, they can come here or do it online. So it's an amazing energy to sit here in my office and there's a mountain outside the window,
Yeah.
So I was talking to a store owner, a little crystal store owner, and he said him and his wife moved here 11 months ago. I think he just wanted to say 11. He's like, yeah, it's been 11 months. But he said that they feel like they're getting the tourist and they're selling the crystals, and his wife is doing the channeling, and then they're taking it back home. And I just realized that, like you said, that I feel like people are coming here, they're getting the energy and taking it back and spreading it out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a love light worker filling station or something, right?
Let me fill you up a little bit. And then we help each other, of course, we don't know everything. If we did, we would have sent it out of here, So right. everybody that comes in, it's like I learn something, I get something out of it, so.
So you had a BQH with me about, what was it, a month ago? And since then you saw Bashar. Is that right? Right there in Sedona?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you got to tell me about Bashar because
it's so exciting, it's so exciting seeing people online. And I know Ethan Fox is going to be here in a few weeks too.
Oh, nice.
In November. And I've been following him for a while. But yeah, Bashar, I hope I said his name right. Yeah, it was so exciting. It was a different stadium than what we went to, and it was just completely packed. Everybody was so excited.
Pretty big venue, a lot bigger than the one probably.
Yeah, it was bigger. It was bigger than where we went. He had one thing I liked. He talked about. I mean, I'll say it because you can like see it online. I'm not trying to give away all his stuff, but it made a lot of sense because I've learned it through doing energy work too, that our thoughts get in our way of our ascension, and he called it our thoughts, but it's like our ego. It's like just sitting, he said, take your ego, put it in a box and then connect up on a higher level. So it was pretty exciting. And then it's exciting too, because like for me, when I channel, I feel like I sound pretty much the same, maybe I can speak a little better.
Right.
Maybe I don't have the Oklahoma twang like you and I have.
Right.
That I don't hear, but people hear. But he speaks differently, and he does this thing where he's chattering his teeth or something. I'm like, what is that on the mic? I'm like, oh, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that kind of clenching his teeth or clanking his teeth together as he connects up.
And he sounds differently. There's another lady, I listen to her occasionally. She says she channels the Pleiades, and she's just talking kind of normal like we are now. But when she's channeling the Pleiades, she's so like, her voice goes to a different pitch. Like it's very high and she's very excited. And it's cool when you hear people kind of change like that,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's so funny that I'm actually more familiar with Bashar's voice than Daryl Anka's voice when he talks. It's like, oh, that doesn't even sound like Bashar.
Yeah.
It's so funny, but we don't get to hear him very much. It's just usually Bashar, when you're watching clips of him and stuff. But I actually did get to see an interview with him. So how long was the channeling session? Did he get into New Earth? And
it was he talked about that we're the children of the future. Yeah, we're ascending. We're the children of the future. I think what he's channeling is his future self.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A cool thing that happened was that when the seminar was over, the first day, it was 2 days. It was Saturday and Sunday, and then Saturday night was the meditation. If you wanted to do the meditation, was like an extra thing. And I was leaving the Saturday one, but I had a friend who was calling me. So I just kind of sat there in my car, and it started raining like crazy. I thought, I don't think they're going to have that meditation. But sure enough, it rains like crazy, and then it stopped like about an hour and a half or so before. It shows me like, this is meant to be. There's a little help helping so that they could be outside, because that was going to be outside under the moon. Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we had that happen where the rain poured in on us at ECETI, and then it just cleared, and everybody went out and had all these cool experiences. And so, yeah, something about the rain can be, I don't know, maybe cleansing or something in a way.
Right.
Yeah, bringing the energy and all of that good stuff. So awesome. Okay, so the transformational event was sold out. Is that going on right now, or?
It's either this weekend or last weekend, I think, because I remember I was talking to you about it, and I was like, oh, I missed the tickets. There were tickets here 2 days ago.
So is there stuff like going on there all the time?
I think there's stuff all the time, and I just don't look it up, because if you go back to that venue where we went to, I can't remember the name of it. The address is 333 or something, right?
Right. Yeah.
They have little brochures out. I went to some other little spiritual thing right up there, and I told the people, I'm like, I was here a year ago. But when I went up there, I saw there's brochures out. There's people who live here. There's a couple people who live here who I think were there,
Yeah.
at the time, offering services. So, yeah. I think if somebody wanted to come up here, it reminds me of Fredericksburg when I lived out close to Austin, Texas. There's always something going on there. There's always something going on here. So
right.
Yeah.
Did someone say that they're selling that venue over there where the event was?
Yeah. I think I may have told you that.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, I think the owner passed away, so the children have it, and they're talking about selling it. So who knows what's going to happen? It's such a beautiful piece of land.
Yeah, it is. And they've got the little gazebo meditation area. And of course, the address is 333,
Yeah,
whatever that road is right there, which I
yeah.
thought was really cool getting there. And then they got all these types of conferences where, everybody can appreciate the address. Here I got on my hat 333. so, so yeah, I thought that was awesome. So I don't know who's going to buy it, but hopefully they'll continue to do events there because it's
I
such a
hope
perfect
so.
place.
Yeah, I hope so. Because the locals, like we were talking right before we got on, of the things that go on that people don't know about.
Hmm.
Like the locals that I've talked to, they don't like all this Airbnb stuff. So they're like, I don't know who's next to me every day. It could be somebody different every day. Could be a lot of
Yeah.
cars coming going every day. Like even one lady said, it's helped my house value go up, but she's like, I don't like it. So, and then we talked about how people don't know there is like drug issues. There is issues outside of Sedona that people
Yeah,
don't.
let's talk a little bit about that because it's kind of you think it's this perfect oasis in the desert of no problems and enlightened beings, people, and but it's got its issues just like anywhere else on the earth, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I was talking to my daughter. My daughter's engaged. I was talking to the boyfriend's mom because her and I've known each other 4 or 5 years. So we're kind of like friends, which is good to be friends with the in-laws, right? I would say, gosh, there's like this, I've heard of meth labs and just, drug like meth. It's kind of a big deal, big issues here. And she said, well, you got that everywhere. And I said, yeah, but you're talking from Houston, like 4 million people or whatever.
Right.
This is like this beautiful spiritual area. But I think some of us, if you're moving here, or if you're here doing this kind of energy work, helping the planet, that we know it or we don't know it on some level, that we're helping to clear this area and spread out some assistance. So yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree.
yeah.
So, what do you see anything different with I guess the drug population? Is it when it's I guess in a sparsely populated area? Is it a little bit different? Or are you dealing with like rich kids that sort of got their hands on drugs, or is it still the poor population? Because it seems like that's an area that wouldn't have a lot of the poor population, but who knows?
Yeah, it's outside. It's outside of Sedona. It seems like it's more in a population with less money. I'll
Oh,
say
okay.
with less money because Sedona is really expensive. From what I've heard is that it's going up more in what it costs to live here. I've heard that it's going up more because they changed some regulations on Airbnb where you can have an Airbnb in Sedona, but in the village out here where I live, the HOA was like, no, we're stamping that as no. But something was passed where most neighborhoods you can have Airbnb. So what I heard was that people from California or other areas with money, they're coming and buying houses, and a lot of them don't even live here. They're just making the whole house Airbnb.
Oh, I
So
see.
then it's getting where it costs more to live here, more than you would expect, more than I would expect. But
But those that are already there that have the decision making power, you would think they would love the fact that their property value is going up. You
yeah,
know.
you would think so. You would think so. But I guess some people, it's like the lady who said, yeah, my house value is going up, but I don't like it. Like she's kind of on a scale that she would rather not have it than have the house value go up. Maybe some people are like, I don't care as much about the money. It's kind of changing. Like she said, it's changing the community, it's changing the whole community here. I guess where you don't have a community of people together, you just have a community of tourists coming and going.
Right. No one ever gets to really know anybody. So,
Yeah. So
but
with
see,
the
I mean, you could see it as a positive because if you get stuck with a really mean neighbor, and if it's an Airbnb, then it's like 1 or 2 days and then they're gone. And so,
Yeah,
I mean, it's got its upside, I guess.
yeah. And maybe the people complaining don't know as much about it. Like Airbnb, if you get a bad review, people probably wouldn't let you stay there.
Exactly.
It's kind of like being on Facebook and being approved. And
Yeah, it's like Uber or Lyft. I
I
think
know.
it's sort of self policing because
Mhm.
every rider gets to review the driver, every driver gets to review the rider, and at some point it's going to weed out all of the troublemakers. Because as a driver you can say, they only got 3 stars. I'm not going to pick them up. I don't know what they did to the last guy's car, but
Yeah.
and if you don't want somebody, you give them 1 star, and you'll never get that driver or rider again. So it's sort
Yeah.
of like it's a perfect system, you know, and it's sort of. But I can see if you're new to it, it just seems like they let anybody in there, but it's really not quite
Yeah,
like
but you
that.
really don't. Yeah, because I've from my use of Airbnb, which I've used it myself only about 5 times. It's like I look for, I've used it myself for me to go stay somewhere,
Hmm.
and it's like I look for some place that says it's sparkling clean and it's got really great reviews because I want to feel like if I'm paying for it, I want it to be nice and clean and a nice
Yeah.
area. You know.
I think one of the first times I heard about Airbnb was a year ago. Didn't you say you stayed in one in
Yeah, that was
Sedona?
my first. That was my first time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's when I first heard about it, and I was like, oh, so I should have checked that out instead of driving all the way to Flagstaff. So I didn't mind that. You know, it's just one night in Sedona was more than all 3 nights in Flagstaff. So I just
Oh
went with that.
yeah, yeah, I definitely get that. Um, yeah. So
But
yeah,
I didn't know about Airbnb. So
that was my first time. I think it's nice when you have a bigger group too, if you can get like a whole apartment or whole house and probably is more inexpensive. So
yeah, and you get something nicer, a place where people can hang out and have get-togethers with food, and a lot of the bigger places have some nice meeting areas
mhm,
too. So yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. It's just so hard to organize enough people and then get somebody to front the money for the whole place and then
Hmm.
have to take the money from everybody else. So it's kind of like you got to find that sweet spot of like 8 to a dozen people. Any more than that, it's kind
Right.
of a pain. That's that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you think of it from a think of Airbnb and this place changing from the standpoint of like light workers, that if Airbnbs are opening up, then more people can come in and more light workers are coming in. The whole thing can be just more positive energy spread out to the world, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
So where do you see yourself going from there? Do you have you kind of went off on your own there, and you got Bryce and your daughter. That are they going to catch up with you later? You think or?
Yeah, I think they will. Their Bryce has come and gone here a couple times. He has another trip planned for around Thanksgiving to come here, and I've gone back there once. I'm going to go back up there again pretty soon. So I think the Christmas holidays are going to be. I'm going to go back there. So yeah, I,
That'd be awesome.
my daughter hasn't come here yet, so I'm just kind of like, come on out here. I'm waiting for her to wake up more. She's been waking up like crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been noticing a lot of people. It seems like family members that people never expected to come around are beginning to come around. And so I always tell people, be patient. You know, people wake up when they're ready and don't force it. Just trust that they'll wake up when they're supposed to and just be there and love them and all that stuff. So that's what you're finding to be true too.
yeah, I really would have thought that she'd be the last person on the planet to wake up. So she's almost 23 and she's a college senior and she seems to hold what I would say is more like a masculine energy or something of like, you get up, you work hard because she goes, makes good grades, she works, she wants to have her money, has her apartment.
Hmm.
And I think she just sees it very simple, like, okay, I'm going to have a drink every now and then. I'm going to work. I want to enjoy my life. You know, just kind of stuck in the matrix, I guess, you know? So, but she found a channel. I don't know if you're okay with me saying the name of the channel.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I think his name is Shane Dawson. His name's Shane too. I
Oh
think,
yeah, yeah.
and I think,
Big YouTuber,
yeah,
millions of viewers.
yeah, I think his channel is just called Shane, maybe.
Hmm.
But so he's a younger guy. I think he's only 30 or so, but he looks younger. And I like that it seems like he can appeal to the younger people to help wake them up because my daughter started just spouting off all this stuff about past life and Illuminati and cabal. And I literally said to her, like, who are you? Like, you're starting to sound like me. That's stuff that she would say is crazy. She would tell me, Mom, you're crazy. You're so weird. But she just started talking about that stuff one day. And she's had her same friends that she's had since, elementary school, middle school. And the people around her, a lot of them are pretty awake. And one of them I've actually hypnotized, another one was talking about wanting to do it. So I think having some people around you who's awake kind of helps too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I literally feel like if she could wake up, anybody could, because it was just shocking to me. So now we've had several conversations about this kind of stuff. She was kind of down one day, and she was saying, well, what's the purpose? You know, what's the point of even being here? I thought, yeah, typical dark night of the soul, typical waking up type
Yep.
stuff. And I said, well, I really think, you know, we've had other lifetimes. And I started getting into that. She's like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. There is a deeper meaning than just this. And I'm like, wow, you're like a different person. You're not my child right now. You're agreeing with me for a change.
Right.
So it is cool to see. And then I know with Bryce, he started having those Mandela Effect things happen, like personal reality Mandela Effect things. So
Yeah,
that
can you tell us about a few of those? He like had personal colors change on pill bottles or something,
yeah,
right?
it was like the same. It was the same day because he has one of those pill vitamin things, like the like the
Oh,
day.
to keep track of when you take
Yeah,
whatever or
when
whatever? Okay.
you take your pill vitamin
Mm-hmm.
type stuff, and
Yeah.
so it was like the same day that this stuff happened. He got up and he's like, oh my gosh, these like changed, like there's like a blue and there's a purple line, so there's twice a day, like if you take vitamins twice a day or whatever. And he's like, they switched, like now the purple's on top and the blue's on bottom. It was like the color switched. He's like, I know how they are. And he's very like, I don't want to say he's anal retentive in a bad way, but he's very clean. He's very neat. And he's like, I put it here right by my sink. And this is how I put it, where I see the days, the week, and the colors. And the color switched. He's like, I know what it looks like.
Right.
And he's just kind of frantic, almost like, I lost my wallet. Where's my wallet? It's like this franticness about him. And I thought, I didn't know what to say because I just think that's cool. It's just another day in my neighborhood.
A beautiful day in this neighborhood now, right?
Yeah, it's just another day for me. And then that same day we go to church and we're talking to a guy who had supposedly gone off and done a mission work for like 12 years or some like long period of time. And he's just talking to the guy, and then the guy's like, no, I've never done mission work. And he's like, what? You're not the person who went and did mission work for like 12 or 14 years? And Bryce just looks at me like, he just like quickly looks at me like, what the heck? And so we just had to leave. Like, we just had to leave this guy who was apparently the wrong person. And then Bryce is saying to me, like, what is going on here? Isn't that the man that I've talked to before and had long conversations with about this mission trip? And I said, yeah, that's him. He's like, well, then what's he talking about? He says he's never gone to mission trips. I said, it's just a different reality. It's just, So I'm like really calm. I'm really calm about all of it. And he's just like frantically freaking out.
You got to pat Bryce on the back and say, it's just been a shift. It's all right.
Yeah, it's just a shift. So,
hey, we'll have you wearing a bindi before too long, Bryce.
yeah.
Let's get together.
Yeah, but like he didn't want the little spot. Yeah.
I love that story. And I'll bring it up because Sherry's and I kind of set Sherry up. She was giving everybody the bendy as they got there, and I knew Bryce might not be into it, but I was like, "Hey, we got some more guests. You want to see if they want a bendy?" And she went over and offered you one. You took it, of course. And Bryce was like, "I'll pass on the bendy." But it was funny. We all had these little dots. I think I had a purple or a burgundy one on my forehead, and then the girls had these real pretty, sparkly ones and stuff. So yeah, we just had fun with it. I don't know. Did you get a sparkly one or did you get a regular dot? I think one.
I think you were out of sparkly ones.
Yeah, we're out of sparkly ones.
That's what you get when you arrive late.
But it was still fun with the heating and air guy showed up, and we got these dots on our forehead. It was just a really funny situation. I know we seemed like a cult, but we were just having fun.
Yeah, I think Bryce was probably shocked by it, but he was like, "Yeah, I'll go." At first he said, "No, you just go yourself." He's like, "No, I'll go." I thought, it's kind of like with my daughter, like, who are you people? Like, you're coming with me to a spiritual thing. Okay.
Yep, he knew we were down with aliens and UFOs and stuff like that. So
yeah.
He was really in good company. We're just maybe a little bit more weird than he is. That's all right. He'll catch up with us.
Yeah, I think he'll catch up because what I've been told twice when I've had sessions done, I don't know if it was with you, but I know it was with somebody else. Like twice when sessions were done on me, I was told that the reality and the normalness is to be connected up to source and to have all these like Mandela effects, whatever, all these things that most people think are weird. That's that's really normal. That's really the normal.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's just when we think it's an impossible thing, we can miss stuff right in front of our eyes because it's not possible. That's not possible. So if it's not, then you'll miss stuff right in front of your eyes. And I've noticed that the more that my awareness allows for what I would have thought was impossible before, the more you begin to see these quote unquote impossible things happen in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's really our own limits that we place on things that allows or disallows us to see. You know, those who have eyes to see will see, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good at limiting ourselves, and we're good at um, thinking that we're not worthy. We're not worthy of a beautiful life. Like I told my energy healing friend yesterday, I was talking to, when I said, I feel like I've had a huge shift, like since moving here, like I died. I said, I feel like I literally died. And that's how big the shift is. And she's like, yeah, that's what you did essentially. I'm like, okay, because there's this feeling of, do I deserve this? Like my house here is not a mansion I'm living in, but to me it's a mansion because I've got a golf course out here and a mountain in the front. You know, to me it's always been about nature
Yeah.
around me. And I was thinking about it yesterday, like when I was married, I wasn't in a mansion, but I had deer running through the neighborhood. I lived in an old house that needed everything updated. Things would break down, but I felt like I was living in this beautiful mansion because of the deer that would come and hang out on my lawn, you
Yeah.
know? So it's just an amazing feeling to have this beauty around me and drive through the mountains. You know, it's like, do I deserve this? It's like, yeah, we've got to feel like we do. We deserve it. You know?
And you're right there where you can just at any moment just take a breath in and breathe in that wonderful energy there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
What? So Bell Rock is the closest vortex to where you're living at. Then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's Bell Rock outside my front. I've got to like find out from people, but that's Bell Rock Road right there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably that had a really unique energy about it to me. The Bell Rock. It was strong. It was definitely like you could feel it. I could sit in it. I could feel it. I could put my hands on the rock as I was sitting there and meditating. I could feel it vibrating through me, you know. But each area has a different feeling about it too, which I found to be interesting. That not only can you feel the energies, but there's a certain signature or personality to the energy at each of these areas when you go there.
Yeah, yeah, and I know they name them all, and one of them's more of a masculine energy, and one's more feminine, and all these different feelings.
Yeah, I
Um,
think two of the well, I didn't go to that one last year, a year ago, but I think Dan and Lauren and Teresa went up there, and I believe they even had like a purging where they began to just cry uncontrollably and release a bunch of stuff just from being in the energies on at Bell
yeah,
Rock. Yeah, so I think that one's probably more of a feminine energy or affects women more there for
mhm,
whatever reason. And then
yeah,
and they just chilled out at the lower part. I think Dan and someone else went to the top, you know, because it's a harder climb or whatever. But you don't have to go to the top to get in the energy. You can just
mhm.
get on that lower part, and that's where we chilled out at because it's too much work to climb at the top.
And it's cool how like if you get closer to the vortex, like the juniper trees are actually twisted, you know.
Yeah,
So you have it in the physical
yeah,
reality there. You can see it.
absolutely. Yeah, that's what. In fact, when we would stop at one of those lower areas, I'm like, well, we clearly know the vortex is here because this tree's all twisted. I'm gonna
Mhm,
just sit here by this tree because clearly the energy's here, you know, or the vortex is there. But I
mhm.
think it's really that whole area because you can see trees all over, sort of spiraling upward as they grow. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to flying through it again, like I did last year, because I've gone there and just kind of sat in it, and I'm like, it's okay. But when I flew in it last year, I was like, I think it's everything. I think it's a combination of being up in the sky and having the freedom of, maneuvering with a helicopter as opposed to an airplane, and then being in the energy is just everything. So
How long of a ride is it?
this one is, I think it says it's 50 miles. I think he said it's about 40 minutes or so.
Oh wow,
40 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
gosh, charge your battery up for that one, huh?
Yeah, it's going to go through all the vortexes and then some other areas around. So
Now, do you know if the vortexes extend up above the ground, up into the sky, or are they just right at the ground, or do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like envision a vortex like a tornado.
Yeah, that's me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Just extending on up to the sky, up to the
Mhm.
creator, maybe even.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe it all is all the way to the center of the earth up and, as far as we could think. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So as far as doing your practice there, are you going to start doing it out of your house? Or how are you pushing that?
I
Do you want to
am.
send people to the website or?
Yeah. Yeah, I have an office in the front of my house with a private, office entrance and everything, which is really nice. I've had people come here already. It's worked out perfectly. So,
Really?
yeah, it's awakened5d.com is the website. Hmm.
Okay. Is angiedollar.com, is that still good or no?
Yeah, yeah, that's still good too. Yeah, I
Is
have
that,
both of those domains, awakened5d.com or angiedollar.com.
do they go to the same place?
Hmm. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, angiedollar.com. I need to update on there that I'm in Sedona. I mean, I'm on the quantum healer site too, so um, yeah, I've got to update that I'm here. I'm here in Sedona. I was getting a lot of in person people in Houston and some stuff online too, so I had to leave the in person stuff to come here. I enjoy the in person. We're not just these artificial people online.
Right.
We're real people.
Especially being in Sedona, you would think that would be an excellent place.
Hmm. Right. Yeah,
Let's
we
see.
want to we want to grab some tourists and have them take the energy back home with them. So, mhm.
Absolutely. So with, I also wanted to talk to you about, let me see. Uh, there's something going on in Sedona. Oh, it'll come back to me. Oh, I can't think of it now. Okay, so the best way for people to get a hold of you is through the website, and I've
Mhm.
got your Awaken to 5D Facebook and your Angie at angiedollar.com.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And are you going to, I know for a while we were doing those group meditations. Are you going to get back
Yeah,
into that or?
I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about doing that online. I was thinking of doing a meetup here in person. So if I do a meetup here in person, I could also, have the computer going and have some people live here. Because if I do it here in person, we could go out to the golf course or we can sit out on my front patio where the mountain is, so
That
yeah.
would be awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, because gosh, I can't think of a better meetup than in Sedona, and then to live stream it. So if you get
Right.
back into doing that, let me know because I think it'd be great for our little group. We're all meditators, and we like to use our intuit or our power of intention to make change.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it would be a great energy to add to it to do it here. Hmm.
Absolutely. All right. Was there anything else you got coming up you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I'm getting some people come in, getting some good information about the earth is changing for the better,
Yeah.
I've had some people come in and have like their parallel lives with inner earth beings, ant people, ETs. It's pretty exciting, So
Yeah.
they're getting similar things to like what I was getting is to trust, the energies are coming in for people who are struggling. Go ahead and trust and stay positive, move forward, So,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Get settled in there. There was a few places I know when I went to the conference there last year where they had like lots of orbs and things like that. Have you got to visit any of those sites? The people there?
No, no, I haven't. I'd be interested to know where you guys went when you went out for your UFO search because it was kind of late for me and I left. I was waiting around, but I left. So,
Oh, that's right. You didn't get to make it that night, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that area because I thought we were there together, and there was this twisted tree there that wasn't at one of the listed vortexes. I'm like, and I didn't know that that was a sign of a vortex. So there's more vortexes there than those. Was it 4 or 5 that they list?
Yeah, I think there's four they list. So maybe are there other ones that are minor ones or ones people don't talk about?
I guess because they were. It was an area where you could like pull off the road and take pictures or whatever. It was real beautiful, but there was a twisted tree there, and that was before I knew. And I took a picture of the tree, and thought, oh. And then somebody told me later, and I was like, well, that wasn't at one of the vortex areas. That was actually right down the road from I think they called it UFO landing or something, but it was that area. If you remember the hotel where a lot of the people stayed
Marriott.
at,
Yeah,
right?
we went to get Alice and Co. at the Marriott, like in like the
Exactly.
cars,
And
and
there's a
they're
school there across like that little road. If you go down that road for I want to say 4 or 5 miles or something, it's right down that road. Is
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's 89 towards Cottonwood. So I think is what you're talking about. I think there's another road. Oh, there's a road up there. That's where I went to see Bashar. There's like a conference center up there. So it
Oh,
could
okay,
be
on the other side of town.
that road. I think there's a school up there. I think there was a school right there next to the center. So
Oh, okay.
maybe you were close to, maybe you were close there. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to go out on one of these UFO trips.
Well, I
Oh,
noticed they have a lot of tours of different customized tours to go see the UFO stuff, to see the orb stuff. So I didn't know if you'd hooked up with anybody there that does that yet. And,
no, I haven't. I found one here that does it that I'm considering going out and doing it tonight, but I've got the helicopter thing at 3 o'clock today. So yeah, I'm really kind of itching to go do one of those UFO things. I've got a trade tomorrow. I'm doing a trade hypnotism with someone else who does LBQH, and that's always fun. I'm like, oh, I get to go ask some of my own questions and myself. So yeah, if I have time, I want to do a UFO thing either tonight or tomorrow night. So
I want to say the first speaker last year at the conference lives there, and the one that had all those pictures, I want to say he was one of the people that do the tours there in Sedona,
oh
and he
really?
had a lot of cool pictures. Matter of fact, I watched a bunch of his videos on the way there. I can't think of his name offhand right now, so
Tom, one
I
of them's
apologize.
Tom something.
Yeah, Tom something, I think.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think he lives there, and he's got a bunch, and he does like custom, like you can hire him to go on a custom, you
Hmm.
know, tour or whatever. So,
I'll have to look him
but
up because I have his book. A few of those people, I got him to sign their books. So yeah. And what about I seen you the picture of the red moon, and it was
oh
September
yeah, let me pull that
12th.
up really fast. This was from the
He was
12th.
it was September 12th, and I didn't see anything online.
I'm showing him right now. This is so red. It's looks like an orange in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah, so I took several pictures and I took some video, and pictures never look as good as like I was standing here in person looking at it, and I'm like, well, there's the moon and it's very red. But I couldn't find anything online about a, blood moon or whatever that day, September 12th. So,
That's so funny you said that because when I first heard about it coming up, I heard it was like a super blood moon, and then I think I even said something on the air, and then after it happened, everybody's like the harvest moon. And I was like, wait, I thought you said it was a super blood moon. Now it's a harvest moon. So I never know the differences. I know there's different meanings for like the blue moon, the blood moon, the super moon, but that's just about like um, I can't even think of the name, like just knowing about signs and all that. You know what I mean? I don't. That's stuff I haven't really followed. So I know that there's energy connected with all that stuff. I just haven't looked into it. That's a whole thing to learn on its own.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, somebody told me it was supposed to be a harvest moon on the 13th, and I'm like, well, this is on the 12th, so you know.
Yeah. And then I didn't know if it was just because it's fall, or if it's the last moon before the equinox, and that's why they call it
Right.
that. So who knows why they
Right.
call it that? But it does look big and beautiful and right there. And you took that with your cell phone camera.
I took it with my iPhone.
It's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, I took a bunch of video. That's just one of my pictures that I took. So I know it's not a very good picture because it's on the iPhone, but it was like, did everybody else see this? Like, why don't I see anything online about September 12th and a blood moon?
Yeah. It's just because it's so dark, I guess. Yeah, it just looks like
Um,
it had to leave the aperture open, but that looks beautiful. Did you zoom in on that? 'Cause the edges are kind of jaggy.
yeah, I zoomed in on it. I took several pictures. It's just one of my pictures that I took. And I have a video too.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
beautiful.
was just obviously very, very red. And I thought, why don't I see anything online about this? September 12th, blood moon or whatever. So
Did you notice any energy shifts from, I guess, that the full moon and then to the equinox? Did you notice anything with the equinox?
No, I really didn't. I don't know how affected by planets and all that stuff I am. I really didn't. A lot of times people say Mercury retrograde and all this Pluto and whatever, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So
Me neither.
I had one woman, she used to tell me, she's an energy worker, because I started doing the energy work about 5 years ago, and she'd say, oh, well, it's going to be a Mercury retrograde and things are going to be tough, whatever. I finally told her, I'm like, I want you to tell me when there's good energies coming in, because I'm hearing all this negative stuff.
I think the Mercury retrograde, that's the one that messes up electronics or something, right?
No, yeah, I don't know.
I think they all affect things differently. So, yeah, I should have somebody on staff that knows all that stuff because it's like right over my head, you know?
Yeah. I just want to know when there's good energies. And for me, I just want to, for myself and clients, say, hey, things are just getting better. Just trust. If you're going through a rough time, just, stay positive.
So you don't deal with the any what they call ascension symptoms, headaches, or anything that you think falls into those categories?
Um,
Ear ringing and stuff like that?
no, I don't have any of that, but I feel like I've probably gone through like several dark nights of the souls. I've gone through just letting go of so much stuff. Like for me, I knew, for me back in college when I was in my 20s, I started having dreams, and I'd wake up the next day and that dream would happen. Like I've had abilities like most of my life, but I pushed that out because I thought, man, this is crazy. This is demonic. I really thought it was evil until I met someone who was like a religious person, and I'm not a religious person, but she said, hey, that stuff's all through the Bible. It's like a gift. And then I started seeing it differently. Like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I just have a dream. The next day it happens. It's really pretty cool. So I went on from there. But as far as waking up, for me, it started about 5 years ago. And then my abilities just started going like crazy, like just a ton of abilities coming in where I could have something like 5 things a day where I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen or whatever. So, or I'll see a bunch of lifetimes in front of me and know what I need to release and what clients could help them to release. So, anyway, it's been a lot of dark night of the soul, going through releasing stuff, just feeling kind of depressed, like, who am I? Why am I here? Like I think a lot of people, it's like, oh yeah, now I kind of know why I'm here and who I am.
That's funny that you mentioned that because I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was probably right around the time of the BQH session or right after that. Several people were mentioning having this hopeless feeling, like a wave of hopelessness come over them. And it was almost in the air. I mean, I felt it, and I had no reason to be upset. It was a great day, but I could feel it. And I think, being able to distinguish those thought forms and realize if they're sort of coming from the collective or from your own head is important because I recognize right away, I have no reason to feel this way right now. This must be something external. And then once I heard it from several other people, I'm like, oh, yeah, clearly something went through and many of us felt it. And I don't know if we transmute it when that happens or what's really going on behind the scenes, but it is an external stimulus of some sorts. And more than one person is feeling it. So it lets me know that it's sort of a wave that moves through the people or the crowd.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And the energy work I do would be it's the collective. A lot of people call it the collective. And I just, with my energy work, I would be clearing that out. Like I'm done with it. Sorry, you guys have to deal with it. I'm just like, I'm moving out of that collective energy and try to like clear it out as much as possible for myself and others.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But I know, it's funny because realizing it doesn't come from you automatically makes you feel better. You're like, oh, this is from outside of me, and you realize, and it's just the power it has over you sort of dissolves away when you realize that it's not coming from inside of you. So just having that awareness helps tremendously, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think people complain about the cabal or whoever Illuminati's in charge of YouTube, internet, whatever. But I also think of the positive side of how it's brought people together.
Yeah.
where otherwise I would feel like I was crazy if I didn't have, because I would literally have no one around me who's gone through the stuff
Yeah.
that I've gone through, so it's been really helpful seeing other people online that are like, yeah, I'm in this crazy twin flame relationship. It's like, oh, okay, I understand. And I'm feeling like getting up and moving to another state and leaving everyone. It's like, oh, I understand. Here I've got, and it's okay. It's okay to do these things that seem really crazy. And oh, I fell out of a professional job where I made a living and this and that. And it's like, no, I understand that. I've done that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helps to have that brotherhood, sisterhood going on between us all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I hear that from people all the time. And you bring up another good point. Like, a lot of us have these secure jobs, right? And then maybe we're filling the pool to move to something else that, from a 3D perspective, isn't. It's less secure, even. But it's like once your perspective shifts, you get this higher perspective and you realize it's not really all about the money. It's about the long lasting effect that you're actually having here and being on a mission and living for purpose and all these good things. And just your perspective shifting like that, you might find yourself where you don't feel as secure in that secure job. You'd almost rather step out and start a new chapter in your life or do something that's sort of really bold, like you did, moving to Sedona. That's a bold move.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think people have just got to follow it. It can be really scary, the unknown. And even if you're in a job you're not happy with, it's like, okay, well, I know what this is like. I know I have an income. If I go chase my dream over here, do I really deserve that dream? And can I really make it? And
Yeah.
a lot of people, they've got to, I think, follow their dream. And for me, it was getting harder and harder to stay in that professional job. I was feeling pushed out. I
And
think
I
that,
think that's a good point
yeah,
because you were just saying a second ago about the victim mentality. When you think the cabal or whatever are controlling everything, if you can shift from the victim mentality, you can automatically shift your perspective of what we're talking about here. Now all of a sudden, it's not that the coworkers are picking on you and why is the universe allowing them to be so mean to me. Maybe the universe is trying to push you out of that job and make you a little uncomfortable because you're supposed to be somewhere else. So moving away from the victimhood, I think, makes you see the deeper purpose and why things might be happening rather than feeling like everyone's attacking you. You see it as a push to do something else.
right. Yeah, exactly. If you can see it as I'm not supposed to be here, that's why it's getting harder and harder at this job. It's getting harder and harder in this town, whatever.
Hmm.
So
It's
I
like
was,
getting into the flow of things, trying to anyway.
yeah, yeah. And I was glad that when I told Bryce and my daughter I was moving here, I was supported, where Bryce was like, yeah, I get it. When you feel so pulled to go somewhere. So, because it does sound kind of crazy, like, okay, I'm moving away from everyone, I'm moving away from everything I've known, because I feel like I can't help it. I felt like I have to move. Like there's this huge force that's taking my whole physical body and putting me right here. So
Well, when you began to, I guess, begin to act out on what you were feeling, did it seem like doors began to open for you and things
it
began to
started,
fall
well,
into
I couldn't
place?
believe it. I couldn't believe how it flowed. Like as soon as I decided, because I thought about it for a year. If anyone I meet here, I say, yeah, I was thinking about it for a year. But as soon as I decided, like, I'm doing it and I'm doing it now, everything just started to fall into place. Like I had so many clients, just suddenly new clients and old clients coming to me for sessions. As soon as I decided I'm moving to Sedona and I'm moving in like 2 weeks or whatever the time that I
Right.
put, it was like, I'm doing it now. I had these clients all coming to me. I was like, obviously I'm getting some financial assistance here that's coming from somewhere else. I wasn't doing any of it. I was just in the mode of, I'm moving in, like, I had a time limit of like 2 weeks or something crazy. Like, I'm doing it now. And then clients are coming in and I'm like, wow, how do I have time to fit these clients in? I'm trying to leave, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I had an issue where my car just suddenly was like dying one night. And it's like, and I was about to move here. And I was just like, wow, this is great because it didn't happen to me on the road. Like everything was just falling into place with the perfect timing. Finding a place, like I said, to stay in temporary for a month and finding this place after just 2 days of looking, you know. I think when you're on your path, it's important to look at like, okay, well, does this feel good? I think if it feels good, you're on your path. If things are falling into place, it could be that you're on your path. It may not fall into place, but I think it's going to feel good. Things are going to feel good. It's going to feel right. So.
I try to tell people to live through the whole closed and open door method. If you really feel like you're supposed to do something, take action. And if you're not supposed to do that, just trust doors will begin to close, and you won't, you'll see that you're not in the flow. You're like, well, these doors keep closing. Maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, you'll see the doors begin to fly open. You're like, oh, wow, well, this is all falling into place synchronistically, and you'll see it, and you'll know you're in the flow. So I think it's evident once you start the process of being active, if you will, to begin that momentum. Even if you're not quite sure where you're headed, but you want to head somewhere, if you sort of take that first step and then walk through the opening doors, I think things sort of fall into place, and you know where to go from how the universe is responding to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think I can definitely see how it can be scary because it can be very scary. I will say that as soon as I decided I'm moving to Sedona, I'm moving now, I felt this beautiful energy come around me.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just letting me know, like, okay, we're here now, we're here helping you and supporting you. And it just flowed easily. But I'll also say there's nothing special about me. There's no reason that I could be here and be feeling this huge shift and that other people couldn't feel it. Also, I don't deserve anything that other people don't deserve. Everyone deserves to be in the place where you feel good and just be building a beautiful life here on this planet. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's 2:20 here, almost 2:22. All right, I guess we can wrap this one up. Angie, I'd love to have you back. And if you want to get in anywhere in Sedona there and report live to help a business out, that's the thing I was going to ask you about the Sedona. So if you want to do a hot air balloon ride, maybe they'll give you a discount if you can, show it on a video or promote the business or something like that. I'd love to help promote the local businesses there all at the same time, showing people what Sedona has to offer. Now that I've got you on the ground there.
All right. Yeah, and I'll try to take some helicopter footage today and show it to you too, send it to you.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought I actually got my drone out and flew around there, but it's so big and vast with mountains that you really need a helicopter because a drone is just so, small compared to what a helicopter could do. Let me make sure I don't have any questions here, and my camera just went out on me, so I had to switch it. Let's see. Oh, I feel it. I feel the shift. Okay. Shout out to Suso. All right. So, you guys, I do have Angie's links down below. You can go to her website at angiedollar.com, as well as her Facebook, her YouTube channel, and her email address. So, perfect. Thank you, Angie.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have you back before too long for an update there in Sedona. Lots of love to you guys in the chat. Thank you for being here, and you guys watching later. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.